Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from up in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bull Eagle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kelly and Andy McPhee.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Ashley and her husband, Edward, run the Wild Beauty Foundation, where they raise awareness on and also assist with horse adoption and also rescue and not letting them, as the movie says at one point, not letting them get turned into glue because that's a real thing. And, it's just awful, and we don't want any of that to happen to our wild horses or to any horse in general, especially when we're seeing every year that some of our most famous animals are being wiped away over time, like the rhino, which is critically endangered. And then we have giraffes and African elephants and water buffalo and Bactrian camels and all the well-known wildlife in the world that we know for a very long time are dwindling in part and even fully because of us, because of, us destroying their natural habitats and hunting them for personal gain. It's just Ashley and Edward are doing a really good job, from my opinion, of raising awareness on this.
They are tireless about it. That's their number one focus. And kudos and hats off to them for the amount of time and effort and personal involvement they put into those projects. Also being around the animals, I don't know if kids get to do it as much nowadays as perhaps when I was younger, or I'm lucky enough, I come from Africa, and I've spent a lot of time in the bush around animals, and it fills you with such a sense of awe and connection to something that's not human, but you're part of the same species, you're part of the same planet. And the more we can get people involved, especially with movies like Black Beauty, where you start to feel a real affinity towards the horses, the better, because more and more people would support any sort of anti-cruelty towards animals, as soon as they have that emotional connection with them. It's not just an animal on a screen, it's actually a real being.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Animals definitely have minds of their own, and they're just as important to the ecosystem as humans, which is why we need to care for them and look after them as well, and not hunt them or kill them for our own gain. It's just, it
I
takes
see.
a long time to realize. It takes a long time to realize when you go out into nature, especially here in the States, you realize that there were some factoids that you didn't know about, such as in my case, realizing that the bald eagle does not sound like a hawk.
Yes. It's a magical sound, that actually.
Yeah, they sound like a dolphin a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, no, as I said, I'm blessed to be living in Africa and spend a lot of time in the bush. And you're often there at sunrise and sunset, because that's the best time to view, which is a very special part of the day. And it always gets very emotional when some sort of animal interaction happens. You see a leopard for the first time, or lions, or giraffe with their babies, or a herd of elephants come, and it's not a zoo. They have good days and bad days, and if you get in the way of an elephant, there's trouble.
Yep.
But the feeling you get of being out in nature, that's as wild as that, is second to none. I mean, there's no amusement park or movie or anything that makes you feel as connected to yourself and to the planet as being out in nature.
Yep, that's the purpose. One of the purposes for us being here is to enjoy the world while we can and as much as we can, which is why I highly recommend that we start visiting national parks and being out in nature if we're going to take vacations.
so good for your mental health in so many ways, you know. Could carry on about it. But I'm a real believer in, if you're having a bad day, just take a walk in nature. Half an hour later, your mood has changed. And, you know, listen to the sounds. There's a lot of sounds going on that your body loves to hear, and makes you feel, you know, just more positive, more endorphins. So it's great. I ride on Table Mountain a lot, and I've always got an eagle above me, or some sort of, you know, nature sounds going on, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah. What animals have you seen in Africa since you lived there? Have you seen all the major ones?
Yeah, for sure. All of them. You know, I have a friend who owns a wildlife sanctuary, and he trains animals for the film industry. So, and he's got a few cheetahs there, and they always have pups. And it's nice to get close and, you know, be able to interact with them like on your lap. It's very cute. But yeah, you know, I've done a lot of movies out in Africa as well, and it's real, you know, like you know, you work with a tame lion, but it's not a tame lion, you know. That's still a wild lion, not like a circus lion, and you never know what's going to happen next. But it's keeps you on your toes, and it keeps you alive, and you're not bored. It's amazing. I did a movie with Idris Elba a little while back called Beast with lions, and we had one real lion that we'd use for mostly for the CGI characters, but it was a real lion, and it you know, when a lion looks at you, it's you're the meal.
Mhm.
Other animals look at you and they dart off, but when a lion looks at you, he's like, you look good.
You know what happened? You know what
Yeah.
happened to me when I went to a nearby animal preserve in Arizona here? You see, we have a sanctuary for a variety of wild animals that we're trying to save from extinction, you know. I went on a field trip there one time and saw some orangutans. And
Mm.
luckily, their home was set up to be similar to their natural habitat so they could thrive. Well, anyway, I didn't leave a good first impression on them, however it was, because when it was climbing over the fence, it gave me the middle finger, believe it or not. And I remember looking at it like,
Are
okay.
scared. Yeah. No, the monkeys are dangerous. We've got baboons in Cape Town that live on the mountain, and they are cheeky as can be and smart as can be. They'll literally ambush you. Three will come up from the front, and before you know it, five have come from the back and have taken your backpack and emptied it. And you know, the apes are
Mhm,
pretty wild. I traveled in Indonesia to the orangutan wildlife sanctuary
mhm,
in Bukit Lawang, and that is their natural habitat.
mhm.
And that was amazing to see, you know, 20, 30, 40 orangutans in the trees. And you know, it's as I say again, it's not a zoo. They're not like tame. They're not going to come up to you and you can't stroke them. You've got to be really, you got to keep your wits about you, because they'll swing down from that tree, and before you know it, your backpack will be gone and your shirt will be ripped off and they'll be gone. So, you know,
Mhm.
they're funny.
Yeah, I
Just
returned to the sanctuary a year later and saw the orangutans again, and this time I got no profane gesture from them, so that was a relief. Apparently,
think
I
they
learned
do.
a lesson.
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia, saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.